everyone. Welcome to episode 6.
Six.
Thank you. Episode 6 of the Game of Respawn podcast. Full team. Yes, yep, full team again. Joined by that was Alec. You just heard.
Yep, that was me.
Will's back.
I am indeed.
And Ian.
Hello.
Hello, Ian.
Hello, Dom.
Yeah, everyone all right?
Very tired.
Yeah, not so bad.
Yeah, not bad.
Everyone's all right apart from Ian, who's very tired.
Busy day at work.
Busy day at work.
At the slug factory.
What even me? What does it even mean? I was going to be nice to Ian, and then Will just jumped straight in.
Hey,
with
it's
that.
unconditioned now. You've done this to me, Dom. It's all your
It's
fault.
true, Dom. You've set up this thing now. That's just going to be my nickname.
Well, technically, your full nickname is Sluggy Tits McGee, but
Yeah, I've been watching my team lose at football, so that's a very enjoyable evening as always.
Wow, absolutely. But you were playing the Premier League team, weren't you?
Yeah, and it was the League Cup, so life goes on.
Yes, indeed. Right, got some stuff to get through. Obviously, it's been Gamescom still. Hey,
Gamescom.
I need some sort of I need a noise whenever Alec corrects anyone, just so I can play it. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just one of those old school. Someone's made a mistake.
Yeah, because you're the one who's going to have to edit that instantly, so, to your funeral.
That's fine. I will edit in a noise. Right, it's Gamescom.
Yes.
It's still ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah, they basically had the press day, I think, on the 22nd, and there's kind of sort of 4 public days now or something to kind of the end of the week. But there's conferences kind of interspersed throughout that, so I think Nintendo got something coming up later this week and Blizzard and stuff.
Cool. So, Alec, you've been watching some trailers from Gamescom.
Yep.
Which have you seen?
I watched the kind of Far Cry 5 sort of extended open world gameplay thing they released. I watched the newest video of FIFA. I watched something for a definitive edition of Age of Empires 1 and a completely cinematic thing for Age of Empires 4. And I watched what they released for Shenmue 3.
Yeah, I just got through watching that as well, actually. And it's scary.
It's yeah.
Oh, no.
For those who haven't seen, basically the kind of backgrounds and the detail and stuff look quite modern, high res, but the character models seem intact from the Dreamcast days. So it's very like chunky characters and evident polygons and that guy who looks perpetually surprised.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think he's the worst one. The main guy who's just two very, very round eyes, kind of far away from each other in the middle of his face, and it's well, not in the middle of his face, it's kind of far away from each other. Kind of looks like he's constantly having like a naked person jump out in front of him from behind every corner he walks around.
Now, what's this game called? Sorry,
Shenmue.
I've never heard of it.
Is it a Japanese title? I'm assuming that's.
As far as I know, there were 2 exclusives to the Dreamcast, were there?
I know the first one definitely was because I own it. I don't know about the second one. I assume probably because it didn't come out in 2001. Yeah, Dreamcast exclusive.
It was some sort of contemporary Japanese RPG where you could it was like loads of side activities and you could get a job and stuff. I don't know. It was that bad.
It was basically the first or one of the first games to have QTEs as well. The first Shenmue was, I believe. It's where we kind of got them from, and also incidentally, Shenmue 2 at least is also on Xbox original. So
okay.
So
isn't this been Kickstarter crowdfunded as well?
Yeah.
I'd heard it had been. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
everything.
I remember them announcing it at E3. I think like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then Deep Silver has picked up the localization on it because they also. I mean, I think that seems something they do there. They're also handling the localization for Yakuza Kiwami, for example.
Oh, that's interesting. I should be reviewing that at some point, so good to know.
Yep.
Deep Silver did something else recently we covered, but I can't remember what it is now that I think about it. They're like they own one of the studios of one of the games we reviewed. It's on Twitter. We contacted them about the review we did.
So, as you're the only one who's played it, Will, what do you remember from Shenmue 1?
Oof, honestly, as I said before, mainly just the QTEs being a thing as far as I remember. It's been a long time since I played it. It's not one of the games that kind of stands out from my childhood.
Yeah.
Well, so childhood, I was, getting in towards being a teenager by the time I played Shenmue, I think. But it's not. It's a very, for the time, it was a very impressive kind of RPG. As you say, there's lots of side stuff going on. It's quite big considering it was on the Dreamcast.
It was an open world type thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Kind of in a similar way to, speaking of Yakuza, the way that works, being in sort of a city and having lots of kind of side crap going on.
Yeah, wasn't there like fishing and I don't know something about?
I think it was like fishing, and you could. I think you could work at different businesses, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it's been years since I played it.
I think it must be one of the few games that has actual jobs in it. I mean, I know GTA kind of has them, but it's not really. But yeah, you almost kind of actually had legitimate employment, which is fairly unusual in video games.
One could argue that Euro Truck Simulator is just a job simulator.
Oh, I mean, it definitely is. It's literally the point of the game is that you own a trucking company. Well, at least in the second one. I don't know. I've not played the first game, but I've sank an embarrassing amount of hours into Euro Truck Simulator 2. like too many.
Were you reviewing it, Will, or were you just...
Nope, I just like it. I find it relaxing.
You sank into the sort of...
Yeah, a lot of people do today.
Roundabouts.
Yeah, and very miniaturized versions of European geography. It's funny just because you can add like your own music to the radio in it, and I just put like the Mitchell and Webb radio show on the radio and just sit there driving, spend 8 hours a day like driving between different major European cities and listening to Mitchell and Webb.
Were you tempted to become an actual trucker, Will?
No, my dad used to be one, so I'm like, I'm good. I don't want to do that. Like, from hearing his stories about how horribly boring it gets just driving.
That always. I mean, I think it takes a special kind of mind to want to do that, or to be capable of doing that. I guess you'd say.
I guess you have to zone out. I think this is why there's sort of a lot of in America at least sort of stereotypes about truckers who like take drugs and do other shit, because it's like you've got to keep your mind as dead as possible to be able to do it without going insane.
Yeah. Okay, I think we may have gone slightly off topic.
Yeah, slightly.
But yeah, Shenmue 3, it looks weird.
It does.
So it's basically just a Japanese RPG where you can have a job.
Effectively, kind of, yeah. I mean, there's more to it than that. There's obviously like a grand overarching storyline as well. But that's not unusual, at least it wasn't at the time, and still kind of isn't, I guess. But the
question is, though, is it worth a $5?
The original or the new one?
Either the original.
Yeah, I'd say so. Worth getting for $5.
Ian, it's worth a $5, mate. So
that's what we go for here.
So you'll be banging to that, I imagine.
Maybe we should have a scale, like how many fivers is it worth?
People who can't do basic multiplication getting really confused by our scale of fivers.
Yes. Yeah. It's worth 68 fivers. What? So even I don't know what that is. Top of my head.
Well, it's 340 quid.
Well, there you go, 340 quid. So not many games are worth that, I suppose.
No, probably
unless
not.
It's a bundle of about 400 of them, and even then, that's pushing it.
Yeah. Wasn't the Fallout 4 Pip-Boy edition? That was like 350 quid.
That was quite expensive. Yeah, it still is now. Like to buy second-hand one off of eBay or something, because they're quite rare.
Wasn't there a? Sorry.
No, go on.
Wasn't there a Final Fantasy Special Edition that came with a car?
Oh god! Car. Yeah, it was Final Fantasy 7.
There was one.
It was like a bright one.
I thought it was the last one that.
Maybe it did.
Like a 20 grand special edition, or it was like a customized Audi.
I remember on my and Dom's old podcast, we did a thing of like special pre-orders and like how ridiculous they were, and I can't remember what game it was, but the top one it came with, I think it was £500,000. And it came with something ridiculous, like a mansion or something ridiculous.
No, it came with like a zombie-proof house.
That was it. Yeah, I can't remember what game it is now.
It's going to be something like
Resident Evil, maybe.
No, it wasn't Resident Evil. It was one of these new sort of survival zombie games on Steam.
Like Rust or H1.
A bit like Rust, but zombies.
Oh, is it 7 Days to Die?
H1.
It might have been H1Z1. Yeah, something like that.
7 Days to Die is also another one that's all zombies. I didn't think Rust was zombies. I thought it was like naked strangers.
It was £500,000 to buy, and you got like a zombie-proof bunker.
I found the Final Fantasy one in the Metro. It's £375,000, and you've got a custom Audi R8 that doesn't even look that special, to be honest. It just looks like a regular Audi R8. But
I feel like, if I remember right, it didn't actually come with a copy of the game.
That would be shitty fucking the worst pre-order. Looking at it, I don't know. It doesn't seem to. It seems to mainly come with like a car and like a statue and stuff, and that's it. Like ridiculous.
I mean, pre-orders are always pretty much irrational because if you start thinking about it and what you're paying for, you start going slightly mad. But yeah, that is the zenith of irrationality.
Yeah, so most I've paid is that 120 when I got 2K15. I got all the Hogan stuff with it.
Yeah.
But again, I didn't actually pay 120 notes because I traded stuff in.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have paid 120 quid out of my own pocket for it. But yes, but we digress. Let's jump back to Gamescom. And what was the FIFA video, Alec? Anything new we should know about?
I mean, not in terms of gameplay, but it's a bit more extended. So you can it's all to the tune of Blue Monday by New Order, which is quite cool. So they've kind of interspersed like the sounds of people hitting balls and tackling and stuff into this sort of iconic electro track, which I thought was quite clever. But it's more about just kind of showing off a little bit more of motion. So in terms of people striking and kicking the ball and stuff, and I thought from this at least the graphics look like a significant step up from 17 in terms of the kind of detail you get on the faces and in terms of how natural the animation looks and kind of all this sort of stuff. And there's a bit of stuff about showing off these new crowd atmospheres. So it was only about 2 minutes, but it did a decent job of kind of getting me pumped.
Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
because it's my first day off of my shift pattern, so I've got nothing planned for those 4 days apart from playing FIFA in my pants. So good times.
I love it there for the listeners.
Absolutely, yeah. You got to share this stuff so they can get a personal. I
mean, honestly, that's the beauty of recording a podcast instead of a video podcast, is that we can record this in our pants.
Exactly.
I was going to say, Dom, are you not going to share a picture of you?
Not in my pants.
Are you going commando? That doesn't sound good, Alec.
I don't think I've got a picture of me in my pants in, I'm afraid.
No.
I can take one for you if you want. Send it to you.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
You're going to share it with all the listeners.
Just organised.
Put it on Twitter, Dom.
This is just organised sexting at this point, isn't it?
Sort of.
It seems like it.
That should definitely be the cover picture of this week's episode. It's just Dom and his pants.
Definitely.
Dom, yeah. I don't think people want to be seeing that, so. But maybe. Who knows?
I'm not sure about organised.
Ad hoc sexting, then, if you want.
Yeah.
Semi-structured sexting. That is totally what we should call this episode.
Ad hoc
no,
sexting.
That's the spin-off
semi-structured
podcast.
Sexting.
Semi-structured sexting is the spin-off podcast.
Yes, look forward to that. It's a bit like Hollyoaks After Dark, whatever it was called. Where so let's go back to Gamescom rather than this weird stuff.
Shall we? I thought Far Cry 5 is quite an interesting one. We'll kind of get.
Yeah, Far Cry. I'm looking forward to Far Cry 5. I think it's got an interesting setting. All the gameplay videos I've seen look alright. It's one of those games where I just think that I won't get bored after a couple of days.
Have you seen the latest video?
No.
Well, it looks quite cool. Obviously, there's some kind of general open world kind of taking out baddie stuff. They showed off this. I can't remember if this was showed off at E3 as well, but they definitely showed it off this time. How your dog Boomer will go and nick people's guns off enemies and like bring them back to you, like he's bringing back a stick, which is quite cute. So he runs off and like grabs an assault rifle off this guy and then drops it at your feet. Which, that's a very handy skill for a dog to have. And they had like a kind of close-up bit where he was kind of like getting in your face and licking your face and stuff. So clearly you're supposed to have an attached to this dog. They showed off that there's going to be like fishing as a side activity. So if you want to sort of chill out and just sort of catch a few fish. And I'm guessing that will tie into the crafting mechanics because hunting animals is always part of the crafting mechanics in Far Cry. And the other thing that there was some quite violent stuff. There was like stealing a sort of combine harvester thing and just driving it into people and sort of producing fountains of blood. And and there was like commandeering a big rig and smashing into a bunch of cars because they'll set up roadblocks and stuff. And then at the end, he got into that crop duster plane, and they kind of showed that off, and that looked really cool, kind of soaring above Montana, and then this kind of cult plane turned up and started trying to attack you. So there was kind of a bit of a dogfight thing there. So yeah, they were just trying to kind of flesh out the world a bit and kind of showing you what there is to do, you know, how it kind of works in practice and what there is to do apart from the main story. So I thought it looked really good in terms of graphics, in terms of polish, in terms of looking like a kind of interesting, diverse open world. So fingers crossed it delivers on that.
But knowing Ubisoft, it probably won't. So we'll look forwards to that.
Well, 3 was fantastic.
3. I can't remember which one that was. The other one I've actually really liked was Blood Dragon. That's only because it had Michael Biehn in it with Robocop's gun. So
4 was alright. But it's one of those typical like thing in Ubisoft games where you played it for a while, it was good, and then it just got really boring.
4 was a very minimal progression from 3, I felt, and 3, I think, had more interesting characters and a more interesting setting.
Far Cry is one of those games where you could do some cool stuff and go, that was really cool, and then just turn off again. I remember, I think on 4, I made an elephant charge through a village.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, and then turned it off because it was boring. So.
Well, I like the story in 3. It was kind of full of interesting... Basically, the rough idea of 3 was that you were kind of this, like, pretty annoying American high school student on some weird gap year on some weird paradise island, and, like, all your friends got kidnapped, so you quickly transformed into a sort of psychopath and started gunning people down. But it was... Then the plot was cool, and it kind of went in interesting directions, and... The villain's really famous, this guy called Vaz. He was like really charismatic and a sociopath, and like it was a great performance from the guy and voice acting and stuff. And the plot kind of went in these interesting kind of psychologically altering supernatural directions. And yeah, I have a lot of fond memories of 3.
I must agree. I like 3 a lot. Don't like 4 so much, but 3 is great. The only problem I would find with it is that they swap out the really interesting villain before the end, and it becomes some really boring dude instead. So.
Yeah, I never actually finished it, so luckily I didn't get to that point.
But yeah,
Alec, have you finished a game ever? Because every game we talk about, you go,
Creed, other than
I finished that.
I haven't finished Unity yet. It's terrible. I get distracted by other stuff. I definitely finished Rime. That was one of the last games I finished. I did finish something kind of fairly big recently. I finished Black Flag like after about 3 years.
I'm still doing that technically. I finished a story on it, but
that's what
going
I mean.
after achievements.
I didn't 100% it, but I finished the story. But yeah, no, I'm not great at finishing stuff. I always get distracted by the next things. It's terrible, really. I mean, I'll finish the new Uncharted because it's like 8 hours, so that's not very hard.
It's easier to get through.
Speaking of the new Uncharted, that's a good thing. Ian.
Yep.
So you reviewed Uncharted, your first review for the site. Congrats, by the way.
Thank you.
And your thoughts?
It's really good. Like, if you're a fan of Uncharted, then it's definitely worth playing. But obviously, if you're not a fan of Uncharted, it's the same game as Uncharted 4. It's just a new story. They've added no like new elements like gameplay wise to it, but the story is really like quite interesting, and it definitely shows that Naughty Dog can still build Uncharted without having Nathan Drake in it, using Chloe and Nadine in it.
Now this was scheduled to be just DLC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they just decided to release it by its own.
Yeah, I think it just
got
bigger than what they anticipated it to be, so they just released it as like a standalone thing.
It's £30.
I mean, that's not so. It's not quite a full price release then in the end, but it's like still a pretty big game by the sound of your review.
Yeah, I'd say it probably took about 8 or 9 hours, and I probably did rush it quite a bit. But there's not really other bits to explore, so you can't really get too distracted in it. There's an open world level where there is a side quest you can do, but it's just a bit of time wasted. There's nothing. It doesn't progress to the story or anything. So.
And you say Nathan Drake's not in it, and because obviously I've only played Uncharted 1.
Yeah.
So who's the characters in this one?
So you got Chloe, who was in the second game, who was like an accomplice to Nathan Drake, and Dean, who was, I wouldn't say that she wasn't the main villain in Uncharted 4, but she's like the side villain in it.
And is this set
very roughly? I mean, Uncharted 4 was about this guy kind of obsessively hunting for the same treasure that you were hunting for, and Nadine was leading a bunch of mercenaries that he hired, basically.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And Ian, is this set after Uncharted 4?
Yeah,
during
after Uncharted 4, yeah.
Okay. What, months, years after, or just like literally straight after?
I'd say it doesn't say, but I'd say it's probably within like the last year after the game came out.
Okay. And is it anything to do with Uncharted 4? Is it in the same place, or?
I mean, Uncharted's always set in different places. It depends obviously what treasure they're after. So it does reference the fourth one, but you could play it and not, it wouldn't ruin the game for you. You just wouldn't maybe understand some of the conversations that happen in it.
Right. Okay. Uncharted's just a game that always just missed me. Always, I just don't know what about it, but I've just never got around to playing much of it. So I played one, and I think I got about
the leap from 1 to 2 was huge.
Yeah.
I think I got about 3 hours into 2. Where did I get to? I think I've just got out with the. This is years ago. I played it. I just got out with that museum.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In Turkey.
Oh yeah. It's the second game. I played the first 3, but I don't remember between the second and third the difference is too much. It's been quite a long time now. So like, I know one of them starts in, as you say, in like Turkey. Well, it starts, but it's like has an opening section there, and the other one's kind of in London, isn't it?
Yeah,
or is the London one the
It starts in London.
The start of 3 is in London.
Yeah.
I think the very start of 2 is you dangling off a train.
It is, yeah.
And then
yeah.
back to you as a kid, and then eventually you get back to dangling off a train again.
Always fun. The kid section was weird. Not gonna lie.
I liked it.
It wasn't bad, just strange.
I really enjoy the Uncharted games. I wouldn't say like gameplay-wise they're the most interesting games ever, but I think it's the storytelling that Naughty Dog's doing it is like one of the best you can get in a story in a video game, and like all the set pieces. I mean, a lot of it is linear, and like it makes you feel like you're in danger when you're probably not. But it gives you that, makes you always feel like any second when you're jumping off these big buildings that are collapsing, that if you miss, if you don't jump in time, you're going to fall off. Where normally, if you jump any time within reason, you're going to land it. It just gives you that good feeling that makes you feel like you could miss it at any point.
Well, there's some of my favorite games ever. I mean, 4 in particular, I thought was absolutely superb. I placed it, against sort of any sort of greatest game list. I, wrote quite a long review about all the ways. But I think essentially it boils down to the fact that there's something about the way it's so well engineered and so smooth that it just really sucks you in. Like once I start playing Uncharted, I find it really, really hard to stop because there's just something about the way it's paced and the way the way everything works so smoothly, and the mechanics work smoothly, and the plot stays interesting and the characters stay interesting, and I just get sucked in completely in a way that I get with quite a few games, I would say.
I'm sure I've asked this before, but I've got a really bad memory, so I've probably forgotten. But can I play 4 without bothering with 2 and 3?
Yeah, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, like there's bits obviously they're referenced, but I don't think you'd be completely lost if you just played 4.
Because I'm not gonna have time to play 2 and 3 really, but I do want to play 4 because obviously
I mean, they don't take very long.
I mean, I would say 2 is my favourite one. I would put it just over 4.
Oh, would you? Then you got me interested now, Ian.
Because you got the Nathan Drake collection, which came out on the PS4 last year. Which
I've still got one on PS3.
Oh, I've got the HD one if you want to borrow it, Dom.
Go on then, Petal.
Yeah,
why not?
they kind of polished them up and made the old ones look sort of as sparkling as they could. So yeah,
did they include all of the like different kind of rendering modes and sort of cheat codes and stuff in the first game in the HD releases, or?
Yeah, pretty sure they did.
Because I played through the first game about 7 or 8 times, partially because it was the only game I had at the time, but partially because it had like you play through it in sepia and like make it into a kind of like old ass action movie, and you could play through it with like a bunch of different cheats on if you wanted to and stuff. And so my favourite one was playing I think through the entire game in slow mo, which was
you can
took a long time, man.
No gravity as well. So as soon as you kill someone, people just start floating in the air.
Float off, yeah. I'm gonna play through those games again at some point soon because I need to play the 4th one, but.
There's a few bits I would mention on the Lost Legacy, but I'm going to wait till next week till people played it a bit because they're not spoilers, but it's like they were nice surprises while playing it. So
yeah, oh yeah, we don't want it to be saying spoilers.
Yeah,
I had that when trying to discuss fucking Sonic with Ian last week. I was like, "There's a boss. I want to tell you about it." Like, I don't want to know about it, but I want to tell you about it.
Yeah, I am sort of literally counting down the minutes/hours because I can play it in like just over 2 hours because it unlocks at midnight and I've got it downloaded on my PS4 waiting for me. This is a very annoying feeling.
Oh, there you go. Have you got work tomorrow morning?
Yeah, but who needs sleep?
Wow, absolutely. Who needs sleep?
You know where your priorities are.
I know. I can probably survive on 4 hours sleep. I'll be fine.
I do quite regularly before work, especially before days. That's what our good friend caffeine is for. So,
yeah, exactly.
Thank Christ for coffee and Monster, because I'd be dead years ago if it wasn't for them things.
Probably, probably be dead a bit sooner with them though. Well, with the Monster anyway.
No, it's good for you. Monster's good for you.
It's delicious, but it's definitely not good for you.
Scientifically proven, it's good for you.
It is the nectar of life.
Just to kind of veer back onto topic. I can totally. 2's got some of the most famous kind of iconic scenes. I would say 4 probably does more interesting things, and obviously has a higher level of polish, being on a subsequent console and stuff. But there's definitely a kind of debate to be had there. I probably have to go back and play 2 again. But yeah, I mean they take, I think, about 10 hours to complete each. So if you kind of did them all, it's a bit like sort of one, longish, in one, a kind of AAA open world game. So it wouldn't take that long. We really would recommend that you do them all.
Yeah, if I've got time, but I definitely will. I do definitely want to play. Definitely do want to play 4. So
4 is. I thought 4 was completely stunning in terms of really progressing the characters in interesting ways. And yeah, I mean, I would place 4 probably. Personally, I think Vice City is my number 1 and 4 is my number 2 in terms of favourite games ever.
Yeah.
High praise.
Yes, indeed.
I really love it. Even when I get people over and I show it for the first time, there's part of me that go, oh, I just want to play it, but they have to play it.
Ian, because on the podcast we're going to go by review scores properly. We're going to go by our review score.
Is it worth a fiver?
Is it worth a fiver?
Well, I'd say it's worth 5 fivers.
Fucking hell! Well, that's high praise indeed.
Damn.
That's more than
4.
That's more than Destiny.
Oh, I'm at Lost Legacy.
All right. Yeah, you didn't really make it clear what we're reviewing, Dom.
We got just the entire Uncharted series, just everything, the whole thing.
Yes, indeed.
I'd pay many fivers for the entire Uncharted series.
Well, you have. I mean, already.
Yeah, yeah, I quite literally have. And I got the collector's edition of 4, so
I've just seen a bit of news piece on Gamescom that's just come out that the Super NES Classic, when it comes out, it's going to have a rewind feature on it.
What? So is it you can literally rewind gameplay?
Yeah, so it says it varies from game to game. So the Super Mario RPG, you can rewind back a few minutes, where Super Mario World, you can rewind about 40 seconds.
Oh, cool. That's quite good.
It's a bit like, did any of you play Rare Replay when that came out?
No, vaguely, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I think that had a rewind function in it. So you with the old harder games, you can just skip back and
rewind if you mess up. Yeah.
Yeah, make it a bit easier for you to go through them.
That's cool.
I love that in the. I mean, obviously it was built into the whole mechanics, but that whole Prince of Persia remake, the way they used that was really cool.
Yeah, Sands of
which remake technically?
Sands of Time. Yeah.
Sands of Time. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's been loads of games over the years that have had a time rewind
feature, yeah. Or slow down, or time manipulation is one of the most overused mechanics in game, probably. In games, I suppose. In single game, in only one.
I'd say jumping. That's probably the most used mechanic.
I mean, well,
walking. Oh,
damn!
To walking again. This is ridiculous. No imagination. Oh, not another.
They're ripping off. They're ripping off Mario with the walking and the jumping.
You just picked it up. Oh, not another game with driving. I'm so bloody sick of driving.
Let's shoot back to Gamescom. Ian, you wanted to talk about the Xbox One X.
Yeah, so Microsoft announced obviously they started doing pre-orders for it, and already by now they've I think North America is pretty much they've all sold out their pre-orders already now. I know Amazon and Game over here have as well now.
Well, Ian, the real Ian, not you fake,
the fake
slug.
One, yeah.
He's pre-ordered it.
Yeah,
we've done quite a few at work already now.
I do not see the point.
No, I agree.
I think what Microsoft done is quite clever because they've obviously announced this like Scorpion edition, which it's for full-on mugs because all it is...
wait, Ian, it's a bit of space then because I need to put the noise because Alex corrected someone again.
See, I wouldn't have an it here because I'd just have like a ding.
Like a ding or a tingle makes more sense in fairness.
No, it's going to be a very old school, like no one cares that Ian missed the fucking letter.
This.
So, Ian, carry on.
So I can't remember where I was now.
About the Xbox One X Scorpio edition.
They've done this Scorpio edition where it's basically the same console as what the Xbox One X is going to be, but it's got like a little green row on it. It says Scorpion, and I think the case is slightly different. And I think that's only going to be. Yeah, I think they haven't like officially announced it, but I think that's going to be like just for like a limited edition for pre-orders.
I think
so it kind of makes everyone.
I think they have announced. I think they have confirmed it now.
I think so because I'm on the Gamescom sort of article, and it's like a picture of it right here with it's literally just regular black Xbox One X, but it has Project Scorpio in the middle of the controller in tiny lettering, and then a slightly cross-hatched sort of cover for the Xbox itself.
It's quite clever because all it's doing is it's just baiting like gamers. Like you want to pre-order, you better do it now, as you're not going to get one of these fancy ones with a little word on it. And it's obviously worked because everyone's buying them.
Everyone's buying it, yeah.
How much is it going to be?
$449, I think.
Yeah.
$499. Sorry, $499, £449.
Yep.
So.
I've got an Xbox One. A bit like the PS4 Pro. I'm not going to be bothering upgrading.
Yeah, I don't... See, I collect consoles, and I eventually wanted to get an Xbox anyway, and I still don't have an Xbox One anyway, so as it's a similar... Is it the same price? I don't know if it's the same price.
Xbox One, it was $420 when it first came out, because it came with Kinect.
Yeah, and they stripped out Kinect and reduced the price.
Then when they realised the error of their ways, I think it went down to $350, same price as the PS4 at the time.
Yeah.
I think you can get one now for about $250.
Yeah, we do ones that work for like $250 and you get a game and controller.
Yeah. Well, see, this is it. Like, a part of me's like, I could get the 4K Xbox One X, but I don't have a 4K TV, and when it comes out, the prices are going to go way down on the old Xboxes, so it's like, I might as well just get an old one.
Yeah.
I don't see the point, especially since I've also at some point got to get a Switch and backtrack and get a Wii U, purely for the sake of completion of my console collection.
Switch, fucking good luck with that.
Oh, I don't even know.
I've still got some at work.
Yeah, but Ian, you're not going to give it to me for like 50 quid, so I'm not interested.
Who is going to give it to you for 50 quid then?
A real friend. That's fucking who, I'll tell you.
Well, good luck finding one of them.
Exactly.
No, I'm into the idea of a Switch, primarily for the whole feature of not only is it something you can just take out of the house with you, but it's like you can take it out on like a train, and me and my fiance could sit on like a train and play like with the one console on a train, controller in each hand, both playing just like Mario Kart or whatever together, because we tend to do that sort of thing anyway.
There was a train I got on about a month ago, and I did genuinely see that, which I was kind of surprised by. But yeah, people are actually doing that.
Well, I mean, it's because it's such a simple feature. It's the ability, you don't have to take an extra controller with you. You can just take one half of the controller each, and both have, apparently, most games that have multiplayer will use the sort of mini controllers from each side of the Switch itself, and it just freestands. It's very simple to use. It's no like connect. You have to have two separate switches and connect them together and like mess around with it and have two different ones on different seats standing up. It's just pull it out, controller each, and flip the little back thing out and put it down, and there you go, just away. Multiplayer on the go, easy as.
When I had my Switch, I took it on the train. I think I was doing a training course in Slough for a couple of days, so I took mine on the train, played Zelda up there, and played it the way back.
Yeah, hell man, that's why I wanted a Vita in the first place, is because it's like supposedly AAA sort of level games, like full releases, but you can play it on the move. Slightly disappointed with it in the Vita for that, to be honest, a little bit, but
part of me still wants a Vita just so I can like sit and like do remote play and just play in bed.
Oh yeah, that's the only reason that I even use my Vita as much as I do, is that I can, instead of my PS4 is in the front room, so hooked to the TV. So we're watching like Fargo in the bedroom at night, and I'm just sat there watching out of one corner, watching the TV, in the other corner I'm sat there playing like Fallout 4 or Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy, anything pretty much. I was surprised by the number of games that actually have custom control layouts as well, because I didn't think most of them would bother. But like Fallout 4, if it was using the default control layout, it would like be crap on a Vita, because you've got like, press the screen to run and stuff. But they've actually done a custom one, so you can like tap the down on the D-pad to run, and it's much easier to use than most other games because they bothered to change the control layout for it, which is nice. Insane Trilogy is awful though. Like if I pause it and then put it down, if you press the touchpad on Insane Trilogy, it quits. But the problem is that the whole screen of the Vita is a touchscreen. So like if I put it down and then go to pick it up and my finger just kind of touches the screen, it will quit a level. And when you're trying to 100% those games, it's like, oh my god, I want to die. The amount of times I've quit like a death run level or something.
Yeah.
Like when I got really close to them, like, oh, I'm just going to go get a drink, come back, and like, oh, I've tapped it. Oh no! I'm like, why did they do this to me?
I kind of had something like that this week because I was writing on my iPad and I somehow managed to delete the paragraph I was working on and then type a bit more, and it would only like undo. It wouldn't undo far enough for me to get it back. I mean, I only lost about 100 words, but it was really...
It's still annoying.
Really annoying.
I found that a lot more when now that I've started writing on my tablet because I've got a keyboard for the thing. I found that it's a lot... I lose a lot of like writing information half the time. I'm like, oh shit, where's all that gone? Because apparently no one knows how to make a good like writing program for tablets.
Well, I mean... But you're on Android, aren't you?
Well, actually, the tablet I write on is slightly worse, which is like a Fire OS tablet. It's better, like
because I've got this thing called Bear for my iPad, and that works.
Yeah, this is I don't know, it's a WPS Office or something, but it crashes a lot, and I lose a lot of information. So
I think it's just like because I had like a Kindle Fire HD or whatever it was called, and just felt like it didn't really have the power to do that.
Yeah, it's all right.
I think it would take that much power. But...
I'm going to get a Windows tablet at some point soon, so I'll be able to just stream like Steam games into my bedroom and be like, "Yep, this is me. I'm never leaving the bedroom anymore. I have no reason to. It's like a laptop and a Steam box all rolled into one."
Good luck with that marriage, Will.
Best marriage, bed-based marriage, but not in the fun way.
No, not in the fun way.
Sorry,
I was talking about games now.
I was looking at my phone then. So, Ian, the Xbox One X. Anything else?
That's it, really. I mean, another bit of news. They've because obviously Crackdown was meant to be like their lead release game for it, but it's been pushed back to next year now, hasn't it?
That's never coming out.
It's coming Duke Nukem Forever, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be that.
Come out in about 15 years and be the worst game anyone's ever played.
Or what was that one that came out last year?
The Last Guardian.
Big giant bird thing.
Last Guardian.
Last Guardian. That was it. Yeah.
Except for that was actually quite good, wasn't it? I thought it got pretty good reviews.
I've heard it turned out quite well. Yeah.
I really want to play it. It was all right, but the camera just bugged the crap out of me.
See, I loved the first two games.
I wonder if they've patched that
in the series or whatever, but by the company.
Yeah. I wonder if they've patched that by now.
Would hope so.
Because you think it would be that hard to fix.
Oh, I don't know. You think it's not hard to make a game, but it took him like 10 years.
I mean, touche. Practice up by now.
But I think
if they fixed No Man's fucking Sky, I'm pretty sure they would have fixed giant bird dog.
Oh, you would hope, right?
I imagine Sony probably was just like, guys, I can't pay you any more money. We've been paying you for 10 fucking years. Like, fuck off now. Get out.
They're like, we've actually got to finish the game now, I guess. Yeah. Now they're withholding money from us.
If I was Sony, I definitely would have hired those guys again. I'd be like, guys, your scheduling is shit.
Suck. Like,
yeah, they come into the boardroom like, oh fuck it, what do you want? Oh, we've come to pitch our new game.
It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't.
You've got another time sink. Fuck off.
I don't imagine most of the Sony executives are probably retired by the time they fucking finished the game.
Like, who fucking greenlit this? It's like, he left ages ago now. Works for Microsoft now. That's a bit weird, isn't
it? Yeah.
I guess it depends how it's sold. I think it's sold alright.
I imagine it probably did. It was like one of the kind of games people were waiting for, you know?
Yeah.
It probably sold alright, but not from that. There's no way that game made its money back. It can't.
No, the amount of time it was in development for.
I don't know what the budget on it was. Let's see what the sales were like, I suppose.
But I mean, it might not have been in continuous development for 10 years. It might have just been like...
I don't know. Well, I mean, what else?
Ideas on Notepad for 8 of them.
Total sales.
Wasn't it developed for the PS3? I know it was announced on PS3, but
initially,
actually like almost a launch title PS3.
Okay,
I think it was
sales. Yeah. 1,178,782.
That's not too bad.
I mean, it's not bad. It's over 1 million sales, but I mean, that's not that large of an amount in the modern gaming industry for a AAA release.
And I imagine a lot of that is probably curiosity, not like I want to play this game. Just like, what's this game's been making for 10 years? I mean, hell, really good.
I was waiting years for this game ever since the Shadow of the Colossus, and I still haven't fucking played it. So
yeah.
Does it say anything about the budget?
Not on this. Well, so I can check it though. Hang on a second. These are my internet surfing noises. Budget.
Well, we're just lucky your internet is working well.
I know.
Otherwise we'd be here waiting for ages.
I put extra coal into my router earlier, so we should.
Good.
So if Don was kind, he could edit this bit out and just make you sound like, oh yeah, the number was just here. So you're prepared.
I could do. Depends.
There is not a single shred of fucking information about this.
Yeah.
There are estimations basically around 100 to 150 million USD. Is the vague sort of like estimate people have made about how much it cost them.
And
so unless
million copies, let's say roughly $50 million. So
a third to it, like. Oh dear.
Oops.
Team Ico. Oh no.
Yeah. So Crackdown is going to be one of them games.
Yeah,
it's going to be continuously.
Original Crackdowns, and I've played neither of them.
I love the first Crackdown. Didn't think much of the second one, but the first one was really fun.
So I still need to play it. I've played like a few hours of the first game, I think. But I bought them both from CX for like £1 each or something, and I just haven't touched them.
I think the first one came bundled with my 360 when I got it.
Oh, there you go. Good times. Anything else for the Xbox in?
No, they haven't really announced too much else at the moment. So
it's just an overpriced.
There was a lot of talk about the box because apparently it has a big X and looks like the first Xbox, and people
wonderful.
People got excited about that, believe it or not.
Apparently, though, Microsoft's Aaron Greenberg has said that there's going to be more than 100 enhanced titles confirmed for it. So if you really think things like Fallout 4 look shit at the moment, you can spend £450 and make it look slightly better.
Yeah.
I think it's not about it looking shit, Dom.
No, I'm just generalising.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's one of those things you're not really going to appreciate until you've got like two Xboxes sitting next to each other and like two 4K TVs and then compare it side by side. I don't think. Plus, honestly, if you don't have a 4K TV in the first place, when they stream this 4K stuff, you can't see the difference anyway. So,
I mean, for the most part as well, anyone who has any sort of like vision impairment, like wears glasses, like me and Dom both do, it's like our eyes probably aren't even good enough to perceive the difference in the first place.
Yeah,
really. Like, I mean, there will be a slight increase in clarity, but there wasn't that huge of a leap from sort of 720 to 1080p. I mean, there is an increase, but again, like the further it gets, it's just going to get to a point where you're kind of being tricked into buying these like better resolution that we can't tell the difference between, but psychologically we just think we can.
I would say it's impressive that like obviously they've sold all these pre-orders, but then there's no number to say how many they've done. So for all we know, like they've only sold like a few thousand units, and they're just saying, oh yeah, it's selling out to get everyone all hyped behind us when it comes out.
Yeah.
I need to buy one, everyone else wants one.
It's probably a pretty common tactic, I imagine, like pretending something is selling out, make it, scarcity drives kind of.
No, we'll wait for Switch.
Well, that's what Nintendo have done for decades.
Constantly accused of.
Yeah. But speaking of Nintendo, and speaking of sort of new consoles that aren't new consoles, have you seen they're going to be releasing a brand new version of the 3DS XL?
Is that the SNES one?
Yeah, they've announced
the new 3DS XL.
A new SNES-themed new 3DS XL. So it's nothing at all different from the old console. It just looks like a SNES.
They love releasing 3DSs and 2DSs. There's hundreds of versions of them.
It does seem pointless.
They like to do it, but at the same time, it's like I have one of the three new 3DSs, not the XL, but the new 3DSs, the non-XL editions, have changeable faceplates. I'm tempted to just buy the cheapest one and then paint it like an SNES and be like, well, there you go. I did that for much cheaper than buying a fucking new one.
I've got a same one as you will, the same model.
Yeah,
I love it. I've got a Zelda thing on it.
It's awesome. Zelda, ours is Animal Crossing, I think, which is unfortunate because Happy Home Designer is awful, but.
It kind of reminds me of those.
Sorry, go on, Alec.
It kind of reminds me of those people who get like iPhone covers that then look like a mixtape.
Yeah, make it look like a set from the 90s for no reason.
To make something very technologically advanced look slightly less technologically advanced, it feels very hipster.
I mean, it looks cool, the SNES 3DS edition.
I think a large part of stuff like that is just because kind of older technology and older visual design tended to have to be a bit more striking. We kind of go very like lack of contrast on modern design. Like most modern consoles are little black cubes. When we get to like the future and there's, I don't know what, the Xbox 70 or some shit, or the PS7, and we're like, let's get an old skin that looks like a PS4 and it's just a black skin. That's all it is. It's like someone's got a Sharpie and coloured it in black mark pen.
Well, I mean, you can have that coloured line.
I guess, like, it's just the line. It's like, what's that? That's a PS4 skin for my PS7. Oh, really? I thought you just like left a piece of straight paper across it or something. So, like,
Maybe
say like the SNES is
like
like
maybe
visually
they could have a
appealing.
light in the line that changed colour.
Just go to a lot of effort to make it kind of look like an older console that wasn't very distinctive in the first place. Whereas making something look like a SNES, it's like you kind of see those few colours in a certain order and whatnot, and you go, "That's a SNES." You can tell that's a SNES from the weird way it was designed.
Except it's not a SNES.
Except it's not a SNES. Yeah, I guess that's the point. I suppose. It'd be weird.
What were you going to say earlier on?
So I was gonna say, like, I mean, I've been working in like retail for like something like annoying like 11 years now, and like worked mainly like in game shops and sells game consoles. It's getting so hard to explain to like parents who buy game consoles what they want, because there's like, before you obviously had like a PS4 and an Xbox 360 and like a Wii. Now you have to explain to them the difference between a PS4 Pro, a 500 gig one, and then a terabyte one, the Xbox S, the Xbox One X, like. The difference between like a Switch, because people get confused, they don't understand like where's the Wii U, because they don't realize it's moved on that far. Then for like the Nintendo like 2DSs, you've got like 3DS, the new 3DS, the 3DS XL, a 2DS, now the new 2DS. It's fucking confusing.
I mean, you got to admit though that Nintendo were probably the worst culprits for that. Even back in the Nintendo DS days, it was like you have the Nintendo DS, and now you have the DS Lite, and then the DSi, then the DSi XL. And so you got the Nintendo DS, and then the small version of the DS, and the DS with the downloadable content, and then a bigger version of the one with downloadable content.
See, if I worked in your shop, Ian, and some person came up to me and said, "I want a games console, but I don't know what," I would say, "Well, fuck off home then, and then look
go
into
Google
it."
it, fool.
Yes, go Google it. This is not.
How long would Dom last at your shop?
Oh, not long, not long. In the nicest way possible.
About half an hour.
I would never hire
Never
Dom for
on that.
retail work. I'd never do it. I'm sorry, Dom.
My people skills are unquestioned. They're just
They're unique.
legendary.
They're
You
unique
don't
for
need
your
people
job
skills.
set.
You're a security guard.
Well, yeah, true, yeah.
If anything, you need anti-people skills.
This isn't.
I just picture you putting everyone in a hammerlock.
Could do, yeah,
This is why you're into wrestling, is because it helps you at work.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
people's elbow,
Come on.
motherfucker.
Hello there. I'd like some advice on a games console. Rock bottom. Fuck off.
Stone Cold Stunner.
Go Google it, you fucking dickhead.
He just walks around work thinking he's a big boss man.
Yeah,
Does his little
exactly.
nightstick out.
Doesn't work well with others. Just
No.
on every sort of like personal evaluation.
That's just how you
Yeah.
describe Dom.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that's easily, seeable from the first thing he did when you joined us here, and was like, "This is Ian. He's a slug." It's like, "Oh, really? Hi. Okay."
Pretty much.
How did he learn to use a computer?
Again, this
Hi,
is kind
Ian,
of
it's nice to meet you.
this is someone who loves him like a brother as well. So, yeah.
It's like it's a very distinctive way of being Dom. It's very distinctive, which is weird because everyone else gets the impression that you're very nice, but it's like, "Hi, I'm Dom.
They just
I'm
don't
a
know
good guy." And then it's like, also, this man is a slug.
They just don't know him. I know.
You just don't know.
You don't know the half of when it comes to Dom. The conversations we've had before.
Yeah. So we were talking about Ian.
But I think that's for another podcast, like
That's-
an uncensored one.
That's for our Holly Oaks After Dark,
The dark one.
podcast. Yeah.
That's for the Christmas special where you'll get hammered.
Oh
Well, we
god, no,
could
that's St. Patrick's Day special.
Yeah.
Whenever that is, I don't know when St. Patrick's Day is because it's not relevant.
St. Patrick's
Is it
Day.
March?
I think
But,
so.
we
Yeah.
fucking missed it then.
Mid-March or something.
We'll just do like an autumn. We'll do an autumn special and get, I don't know, drunk on cider.
Drunk on cider.
On cider. I'm a cider drinker.
So yeah. But going back to these here video games again.
The thing that
The
we're supposed to be talking about.
Nintendo new 3DS XL
Blooming ridiculous.
SNES edition will be out on October the 13th.
Mental.
You can only imagine there'll be a price cut at some point for the 3DS. as
Yeah.
it's slowly starting to get faded out.
Nintendo don't really drop their prices, even
No,
with the
even
Wii U.
then-
Like the last we had it out was still 150 quid because they don't really drop prices at all.
Which is ridiculous. They've always been like that, even back in
Do
the
you still
DS.
sell the Wii U in?
No, we don't now, but we had one up to a couple of months ago, and it was still like 150 quid.
Yeah.
So they really need to learn to like
Cut
drop
losses.
prices as well, and also they need to seriously sort out how they handle online interaction. But let's not get into that because that's a whole other podcast. That's like that's another episode or two of this podcast.
It is amazing Nintendo's lasted this long, isn't it? Sometimes when you
It
look at
kind of is. It's like
Yeah.
the old toy maker in the village who's somehow still around, even though everyone else is like now in high rises and stuff. Just the one tiny little single story shop with a little room at the back where he sleeps, still making wooden toys, and everyone else is like like moved on to highly technically advanced things. And Nintendo's like, we don't need online services that make sense. We have toys for the children.
See, I think the reason it continues to survive is because it does keep offering an alternative to, what we kind of think of as mainstream games culture, which, tends to be violent, tends to be macho, tends to be around guns and whatever. And, it is somewhere where there's still kind of these sort of fluffy, colourful games of your childhood.
Yeah.
And despite its faults, despite its flaws, despite everything that does wrong, people have such a fondness for that's why it keeps enduring.
Basically, Nintendo have been surviving on nostalgia and good feeling at this point.
I mean, saying that, they do keep making good games. It's not like the games...
Well, no, obviously there's like a certain requirement for quality as well.
Yeah.
But they've made baffling decisions that would have bankrupted a lesser company.
Yeah, no, a lot of it is nostalgia, and is the sense that they're kind of continuing in the same tradition that they've always done in terms of what they're actually producing.
Good for them.
In some ways.
Yeah. Now, I think I've waited long enough because Will, off air, asked me if it's okay to talk about Star Wars, and I, of course, said no. I don't want to talk about that shit.
Of course you did. No, I thought I wanted. It'll be very short. I'm hoping here. It's just 5 minutes. I wanted to bring up something. I was confronted with something the other night, and I thought I wanted to share it with you to kind of embarrass this other person. So I'm sitting in my bedroom at nearly midnight the other night, and I get a phone call from my sister, and I'm thinking, oh God, what's happened? Could be, is my nan ill? Is my mum ill? Is Megan ill? My sister's Megan, by the way.
Hello, Megan.
Yep, hi Megan. If you're probably not listening to this, if you are, I am dead when she sees me. Anyway, because this is, I'm assuming will probably be.
You haven't mentioned it yet, so.
No, yeah, this. But okay, so she calls me.
Does she have very strong views on Nintendo?
I think she has very strong views on anything. Well, I suppose other than. Actually, no, still nothing. No, not a clue. Point being, either way, that's the case. She calls me at nearly midnight. Obviously, it's very late. I'm sat there, like, getting, chilling out and stuff. And I'm starting to worry why she's called me. So I answer the phone, thinking, like, you're right, Meg, what's up? What's wrong? Is there something going on? She's like, no, I need to talk to you. You know Star Wars? And I'm like, yeah, I'm familiar. I'm aware. I'm kind of, I've got a passing fancy of it. Yeah, why specifically I thought there was going to be a problem. So, no, I've got a theory, right? Says, what if Rey from the new Star Wars movies is Anakin's sister? Now, for people who don't know, Anakin Skywalker, or Darth Vader, as he's more commonly known, is a character who, I don't know, like how to put an age on him, I guess. He's like, what, 40 years old, 50 years old in the newer, in the original trilogy? He's getting on.
So, Anakin Skywalker in Revenge of the Sith was I think he was about 25.
Oh really?
So but when
I guess that makes sense.
He was 10.
Return of the Jedi, 45 years.
He was 45 ish when he died, give or take.
And we know from Luke's appearance the Force Awakens is set a considerable amount of time.
It's set 30 years after the Return of the Jedi.
Right, exactly. And so I question my sister on this, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And she's like, you know how in the original Star Wars trilogy, Anakin was kind of an analogy for Jesus. He was a virgin birth. The Force birthed him through Shmi Skywalker.
The prequel.
In the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy. In the prequel trilogy, he was supposedly like virgin birth's Force baby.
Well, there is a theory about that, but I will go back to that once you finish yours.
Well, that's a fan theory that probably makes a lot more sense than this one, let's be honest. But my sister's, when I questioned her on this, she seemed to falter and was like, well, yeah, that's what I mean. Rey is a Force baby. And it's like she seemed like she was backpedaling real quick on that one, but I was like, It just flabbergasted me. Now, my sister has watched all the Star Wars movies. My mum, when I was growing up, was quite super into them. And when she rang me up at nearly midnight on a weekday, when she's got work the next day, she's like, I got this theory and I'm really excited about it. Like, she was going to go to Reddit and, like, start fucking, like, transcribing it with the other, like, super fans, you know.
She hasn't, is she? She hasn't gone to Reddit with that, is she?
She will be torn apart if that is the case. But it's just the fact that not only did she think that Rey is a Force baby, right, but that on top of that, she thought that would make her Anakin's sister.
Right. Like, okay.
What? It just sounded absolutely mental to me, and I wanted to basically ridicule my sister on the podcast, so I have now done that.
I mean, it's not the most retarded theory I've heard. But yeah,
I don't want to hear any theories that are more retarded than that. Like, I mean, I don't want to know about it if there's something stupider than that in the Star Wars canon. Well, I mean, there are things in the Star Wars canon that are stupider than that, but I meant fan theory specifically.
You just go to Reddit and type in Star Wars fan theory, and there is just like a plethora of just like nonsense that people must be in bed at 2:30 in the morning. They have to wake up in a blind panic and go, "Oh, Obi-Wan,
I must away to Reddit.
Yes,
transcribe my theory."
Yeah,
like the Darth Jar Jar. It's an excellent.
But Darth Jar Jar, you know, it's
ridiculous but amazing.
No, but it's not technically Jar Jar though, is it? It's like he's
been manipulated or something. I don't know. It's like
it's a guy called who I hope. Sorry, we've turned this into the Star Wars podcast now. Who I hope Snoke is going to be, and that is Darth Plagueis.
Oh yeah, I remember the guy
mentioned.
who discovered how to cheat death, right? Darth Plagueis. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah. He was. He was Palpatine's master. Yeah, and he was a Sith Lord so powerful he can manipulate life, either to create it or to stop it from dying.
Yeah,
and the theory is that when Palpatine hinted that he had killed Plagueis, he didn't. He somehow survived, and then he sort of transformed himself into Jar Jar.
Oh my god! And then that, you know what? If that turns out to be real canon, it's going to make the original, the prequel trilogy so much better.
Oh, it won't be. There's
no, of course not.
Fan theories very rarely, especially with Star Wars, get confirmed.
Yeah.
I'm hearing Star Wars in Dom's voice now. I can manipulate life. We need to fight against the Empire.
Yeah, I sound nothing like that. So you sound like a sort of West Country farmer.
I think it's just bad at impressions.
Element, doesn't it? I will admit it's not 100% accurate.
Well, it's difficult to be accurate with when you know trying to do someone else's voice unless they have a super regional voice.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, enough. Probably enough discussion about Star Wars. I didn't mean to kind of steer us in that direction, but I just thought, you know, she troubled me with this at nearly. Well, I mean, I did, but not like for too long.
I mean, speaking of Star Wars, to bring it back into video games, has anyone seen there's like 11-minute gameplay of the
I'm guessing Dom has
Battlefront 2?
No, I've not seen it yet. I've not had time today to see it.
It's great.
It's good. The space fights look really good.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the space fighting. I've got it. I'm gonna watch it later on.
Yeah.
See, I enjoyed the crap out of the first Battlefront, but you know, I just don't care. I just can't anymore. I find it difficult to give a shit about the Star Wars Battlefront series.
I know.
You know,
this one's actually got a canon story. So.
Oh, okay. That makes it slightly more interesting. I guess my problem was that, like, in the original Star Wars Battlefronts, you could do, you know, the sort of battles from different points in the series, and in second one, again, you could do different battles and stuff throughout the storyline. But, like, I also felt like that was kind of already done in the first two games. Like, when they rebooted it for the new one, I was like, it's just kind of similar. It's just an online sort of arena shooter deal. I'm like, I'm not that fussed anymore. Like, it was a novel idea that they sort of have done to death.
This one's got an actual storyline written by the Lucas film story group.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's told from the perspective of the Empire.
That is actually makes it incredibly more interesting than I was originally thinking.
I can't remember who does it, but I think they've got like 3 different development teams. Like, one's doing the story, one's doing the actual gameplay, and then I know it's Criterion's doing the space battles.
Yeah.
The DICE are making the main game, aren't they?
DICE are making it overall, yeah. But then they farmed out the story mode to some other development company. Can't remember who it is. The Lucasfilm story group got involved.
It's all the EA umbrella, isn't it? So
EA got the license for Star Wars, but they just contract it out to different companies.
But DICE are part of EA technically and stuff, and Criterion as well. So I'm wondering if it's possible BioWare involved or something.
No, I think BioWare got their own one coming out, haven't
they? Have they?
Really? They've got the Star Wars project coming out?
No, BioWare haven't.
I think that might have been a rumor I read about it. They might have.
I was about to say, because I mean, another Star Wars Knights of the Republic would be really welcome right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, there has been rumours for that for many years.
I know.
Anyway, maybe even just a remake of...
the first two.
one.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie, that would be pretty epic. I've played them. They re-released them recently on like phones. Not that recently, but and I played through them all on my phone because they're awesome as hell.
They're still quite playable. I've got Knights of the Republic on. I got it from Steam during one of the sales a couple of years ago for like £1.50, and it's still
considering how
really
old
playable.
they are. They're like most of their games from that time period are pretty damn playable. So like I don't know if you guys played it, Jade Empire. Yeah. Similar sort of. It's just kind of Chinese mythology.
I used to love that game.
Oh my god, I've played it recently. Like it's my third or fourth time through it, and I just think it's amazing.
I've still got it in my collection.
Fantastic. I don't have my disc copy of it anymore. I think I have it on Steam or GOG or something. I think, but
is it on Steam?
It might not be on Steam. It might be GOG. I've got it on. To be honest, I'm gonna find out. I know it's on GOG because
I've never used GOG before.
I have a fair few games on there because they do special events on GOG. Where if you buy Jade Empire is on the special edition of Jade Empire is on Steam for $8.99. But yeah, they do kind of events where if you buy certain games and that you get ones for free during special seasons. And I ended up with a bunch of interesting titles like Assault on Dark Athena, the Riddick game, where it was a remake of Butcher Bay, which I fucking loved as like a teenager, and it's still good. So stealth games. But it includes like another game with it, which is weird. But it came with. It's a really sort of old school style first person wizard game. Kind of back in the DOS days, we had a lot of sort of dungeon crawlers that were first person. It's like that without the sort of grid based movement system you get a lot in like Legend of Grimrock and stuff. It's like free form first person magic using. It's awesome. It's an amazing game. But I ended up with a bunch of free stuff off GOG because of their pretty decent winter and autumn sales and stuff.
So GOG or GOG, if you will, is it like Steam? So it plays through a client, or is it?
You basically have the option of they have a client, GOG Galaxy, but the whole point of GOG's sort of philosophy is that it's DRM free. So if you just want to download the game file and install it on any computer, put it on a memory stick, give it to all your friends if you want to be a dick about it, you can just literally copy it to anyone's computer. You don't need any sort of DRM. It's all DRM free content.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it's pretty epic for that, I'm not going to lie. I've got so many. And also, again, of course, they re-release a lot of, good old games because, sort of their whole bag is releasing old games. And there's a bunch of free older games as well, like Beneath the Steel Sky. Have you got anyone's played Beneath Steel Sky?
No.
Very old, very famous point-and-click adventure game. Eric Chahi, I think. Am I wrong on that one? I know he did Heart of Darkness on PS1, but Eric Chahi... I'm probably getting this wrong, aren't I? I don't know how to spell his name, it's French, god damn it. Chahi, Chahi. Yeah. Quite famous, worked on Another World.
Oh, right, Another World.
Or Out of This World if you're in North America, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty awesome title, really. So, and he, and as I say, PS1 game, Heart of Darkness, which I don't know if you guys have heard of Heart of Darkness before?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't really remember it, but...
it was... fun enough, I guess. It looked like it was a kid's game, so I bought it when I was quite young, but my god, it was not a kid's game. It was just horribly hard. Like, wow, it's like 2 discs of constant pain.
Do they have many GameCube games on there? On GOG?
I don't know. I mean, like, none of the, obviously, like, of the kind of the Nintendo ones, because they keep licenses for all that stuff, and the second party releases. It kind of depends what you're looking for, I suppose. Like, it tends to be older PC games and stuff. They do new stuff as well, like Hellblade's on there. And Dragon.
It used to be, I can't remember what it's called, but is it Sanity?
Oh, you mean Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem?
Yeah, that's it. It's stupidly expensive, because I've still got my GameCube. But it's stupidly expensive on eBay or second-hand shops.
I got very, very lucky with my copy of Eternal Darkness. I found it in Bridlington, in a retro video game shop. I just found it in there for like $7.99. I was like, I'll have that. And I did, and I've still got it to this damn day, and it's fucking awesome. Great game.
Why don't you lend it to Dom?
I was about to say, if you want to borrow it, you can do, dude. If you want it more for a collection thing, obviously you can't keep it. But if you want to for a while,
I'll give you £7 1p for it.
No.
Didn't Will just say he pays $7.99 for it?
Oh, did he? Okay, I'll give you £8 for it then.
Still send you a penny in the post.
Yeah.
Just to
I'll trade you Ian's soul.
Because Dom has that for sale.
Yeah, of course I do.
Is it written down on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like The Simpsons.
But yeah, GOG sounds like quite a cool thing to support then, in terms of, fighting the good fight and all that.
Yeah, as I say, it's for a lot of people who don't like DRM, even the kind of relatively good DRM like Steam, it provides a good place to buy games from. And as I say,
do you want to just...
comes with a bunch of free stuff too.
There might be a few people, mainly me, who don't know what DMR is. DRM, sorry.
DRM stands for Digital Rights Management, and it's different systems used by companies to prevent piracy. So, like the Social Club on GTA, for instance, that's kind of DRM. Steam itself is DRM, as well as like a client for buying games from. Obviously, you need to be logged into Steam most of the time to play a game, unless you have it cleared for offline use or whatever. I guess like what's EA's one called again? Origin is a DRM thing. Yeah. There's the really famous one that that famous cracking group were trying to break. I can't remember. It's like something Denuvo, I think, is like a DRM kind of. It's like security code built into games to stop you from
sharing them.
Pirating them, yeah, basically. Kind of, and it includes anything from like obviously all these new like computer built-in systems to in the DOS days when you would be given a manual with your game, and if you didn't have the manual, it would ask you like, what is line 3, section 7, the first letter, and it's like you have to type in like A or G or whatever it is in the little booklet, and if you don't have the booklet because you've pirated it, you wouldn't be able to get through it. I think the weirdest one is in Spyro 3 on PS1 as well. If you
you're younger than me, but I don't remember this.
When I was very, very young, my gaming sort of history came from my dad, who was super into DOS in both a gaming and programming kind of sense. So when I was like, I don't know, 3-4 years old upwards, I was playing DOS games with my dad, and obviously a lot of the kind of DRM stuff, he would have physical games of all these, like Loom, which is one of my favourite games ever. I have a copy of now and can't play properly because I own it on Steam as well. But I can't play the physical disc because it requires DRM in form of a manual. So, and like a lot of games do this. But obviously the thing is, now, with modern internet, you can just download the manuals, so... I was
going to say, yeah.
Useless. But, yeah, the weirdest one is...
Back in the day.
No, go on.
Back in the day, yeah. Well, back in the day, that would have worked, obviously.
Oh, back in the day.
I was just asking for anyone who might not know. Yeah, so if any trolls go, oh, everyone knows that, fuck off.
Yeah. But as I say, quickly before we move on, is the fact that the weirdest DRM I've ever heard of is in Spyro 3, where, well, excluding like some modern, like the Talos experiment or whatever it's called. In Spyro 3, if you pirated the game, there was a sort of code file snuck into the disc, and if you tried to copy that onto a new disc, it would change. And they would like sneakily remove certain gems from the world, so you couldn't 100% any of the levels. And then you could continue and play the whole game up to the last boss, who, when you fought him, the game crashed and deleted all of your saves.
Wow.
It's like, wow, okay, dude, that's a harsh response to piracy, because the sales for Spyro 2 or something were really affected by piracy, apparently, so they got back at them by fucking, like, completely destroying everything that they ever tried to do, which was hilarious in a weird sort of way.
Well, that wouldn't affect Alec, because he never completes the game, so...
That's a very slight exaggeration, but yeah, I get the point. Just go back to Battlefront. What's that? October, November we're looking at or something?
November.
It is November the 17th. It's some great person's birthday.
No, mine's in June, Dom.
Oh, no. Very good. Yeah. Yes.
I feel like Dom has an occult influence over game release date. It's like FIFA's the first day. He's got
a partnership with EA. He just tweets EA. I'll spend a couple of days off, so I can release the game then.
Yeah.
Whenever he wants it, it happens. What we don't know is the eternal excuse of being a child is my dad works for them. So Dom's dad works for every game company.
Yeah. Me and EA are just best buddies. they look after me. Thanks, EA. Send me some free stuff. I think that's about it. I think
pretty much.
Unless anyone's got anything else they desperately want to talk about.
Not particularly.
Will, you were going to talk about one of the games announced at Gamescom.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the new Jurassic World game, I guess. Because it's a concept that has been done, I think, 2 times in the past. Once on phones recently-ish, and an old 90s sort of PC game. Basically, they're releasing a new game in 2018, in the summer of 2018, which is build your own Jurassic theme park, and my god, I cannot wait.
Yeah, I'm down for this.
Is this a full game, not a mobile game?
Yeah, it's a full release Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Summer of 2018, they'll be releasing. It's called Jurassic World Evolution, and it looks immense. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to remind me very much of playing Zoo Tycoon. When I was a kid, Zoo Tycoon came with. Oh, a minute.
Hello, dog.
Dog. But yeah, Zoo Tycoon came with an expansion where you could have sort of prehistoric animals, and one thing I always used to love doing was getting a really busy sort of prehistoric theme park, blocking off the exit, and then decaying all of the fences with the money cheat and watching everyone just get chased by dinosaurs. And I really hope that you can simulate some sort of dinosaur breakout, because my god, I will just spend my life when this game comes out destroying the hopes and dreams of millions. Because I am some sort of maniac. What, sorry? Oh, and the bodies too, yes, of course.
I was going to say, it'd be more than hopes and dreams.
Hopes, dreams, minds, bodies, spirits, everything. Just, it's all going to be
organs.
Yep, everything swallowed by T-Rexes, because T-Rexes are fucking awesome, and it's just going to be amazing. But yeah, I'm not sure who's releasing it. It was announced by Microsoft, I don't know if it was announced by Microsoft or just during their press conference or whatever, but which worried me at first, because obviously I was like, oh, is it going to be Xbox exclusive? But no, it says it's being released for PS4 and PC too. And it's very slim sort of details at the moment. It's just a pre-rendered cutscene, I think, for the trailer, for the announcement trailer. But if it is anything like what we're kind of hoping for and expecting, then my god, it's going to be an experience.
It's by a developer called Frontier, apparently.
Frontier Developments.
I was fucking looking for that information in the article just right now, thinking, who's developed it? And it's just not there. And I was like struggling, and then Alec has come to my rescue.
It's in the first article I find on Google, yeah.
Stunning. I'm using the one from our website.
Oh,
Frontier Developments is the guys who made Elite.
No, it's not.
Really?
It's people. They are called Frontier something, but I'm 99% sure it's not them.
Yeah,
it's people who made Planet Coaster and Scream Ride and the Kinect-enabled Zoo Tycoon. Apparently.
It makes a lot of sense then if they built so many Tycoon games.
Yeah, it's Frontier Developments. They made Elite. Yeah.
I think this is different.
Yeah, no, it's the same ones. I read it earlier. Apparently, they are helping with this Jurassic World game.
All right.
Yeah, it's an Elite Dangerous developer, Frontier. Yeah. In this Ender Gadget article, it says. So, crazy. But I didn't know they'd developed so many Tycoon-style games before, to be honest.
Apparently they did Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 and Scream Ride. And
they did Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, really? Wow, okay. I didn't know they'd been around that long.
In 2004.
Frontier's been around for decades, mate.
I was going to say, because the first Elite was 90s, was it?
I think it was the 80s. Yeah, maybe late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. So wait, the Elite Dangerous is based on the old DOS game, Elite.
Yeah.
Really? Damn, I had no idea that was the same. Because I played the crap out of Elite when I was a little kid on my dad's computer.
Yeah, that is the same company.
Damn.
Oh, so they made... Okay, so the original 1984 game Elite was by Acorn Soft, apparently. But,
the Acorn Electron, right? The people who made that.
I don't know.
I've no idea.
But then they sort of... But it is a kind of spiritual sequel to that. Technically, the first thing they made was something called Frontier First Encounters in 1995.
I love the way, looking down here, Wallace and Gromit in Project Zoo. Oh, yes. The quality alone.
It's a varied gaming CV.
It is a little bit. It goes up and down, up and down.
Wallace and Gromit, The Curse of the Were-Rabbit.
Oh, that was actually, you know what? I don't know if that's considered a good game, but I love the crap out of it. I still play it on my Xbox. Mainly because there's a mini-game where you have to grow a marrow as Gromit. And I find that hilarious.
Kinect Disneyland Adventures.
They did Kinectimals as well, which is just terrifying, by the way. I don't know if you guys remember Kinectimals.
I never had a Kinect.
Neither did I, but a girlfriend of mine, when they first came out at the time, had one, and she got that out, and I was like, oh my god, that is the scariest thing I have ever seen. The face of that tiger they advertise it with as well. I'm like, oh no. Brings back horrible memories. Just I'm traumatized for life.
Shall we finish with a quick plug for your, what's it called? Planet Night Trap or something? This really weird
Night Trap. Wait, Night Trap. No, I was playing 2 separate games.
Right.
Lost, because that would be really weird. I was playing Lost Planet 3 Night Trap. No, I've been playing Lost Planet 3 just for the fun of it recently, because I liked the first game, never got to the second one, and this is a prequel, so I don't need to play the second one. But Night Trap, I reviewed for the site recently, so... Huh?
So, because I kind of read this and was still a bit confused. It's something about there's like rooms where people are coming into and you have to trigger traps at the right time.
Being a retro collector and owning an old Sega CD, I've played Night Trap a fair few times before anyway. Night Trap is kind of a game from the 90s. Imagine a kind of B-movie where they filmed, instead of filming specific scenes, right, they took cameras and put one camera in every room of the same house and just filmed, let the B-movie kind of happen like it really would. And then you then control a person who has to switch between different cameras and trap baddies who are going after sort of teenage girls to suck their blood. They're vampires, but they don't have any teeth. It's confusing. But the point is
So presumably, if you deploy a trap, then there's like the video footage alters to him getting caught.
Yeah, effectively, it cuts to a different shot of them falling in the trap. That's so like there was hours of footage for basically a half an hour long, 25-minute long game. Because they had to film like 5-minute scenes of several like baddies and goodies being thrown into traps. It's also quite a famous game, or infamous as I say in my review, because it was used in a court hearing about violence in video games at the time, and along with Mortal Kombat and stuff, and got very big mainly because of a single scene where one of the female characters in the game is being like attacked by these toothless vampires. And she's wearing like a nightgown, a very like sort of flimsy one, in a bathroom. And they've all got her, and they've got like this weird machine drilling into her neck. It's completely not violent. Like it sounds violent when you describe it, but to look at it, you wouldn't. There's no blood because they got told they weren't allowed it. They're not even allowed teeth on the vampires. That's why they use these weird drills machines. That's why it's so strange. And she's not like, there's no nudity or sexual content really, other than the fact that she's wearing this very thin nightgown or whatever. But it's like to hear, if there's still footage of these court hearings all over YouTube, and in the re-release they've done recently, the 25th edition, they had a bunch of sort of documentaries of the time and like interviews with the people who made it and stuff, who were mainly filmmakers as opposed to game producers. So, but it was ridiculous. It's like, this is disgraceful, and they had the guy who made it come into one of the hearings, and he was like, "Hey, so have you actually played the game?" To the guy in charge of the hearing, he's like, "I don't have to. It's filth." And you play it, and it's just, there's nothing to it. It's not even kind of, it's not violent. It's not sexual in any way. What it is kind of shit, if I'm honest. At best, it's like a B movie that you're not allowed to watch. So.
Drum roll. Is it worth a $5?
Hey.
I'm actually, as much as I sit here and say it's shit, I'm going to go ahead and say yes. For a $5, especially this re-release, if you can get it for a $1.5, go for it. Once it comes down in price, definitely get it. Because as while it isn't that fun to actually play through it too much, giving it a go is very interesting, and seeing it the first time through the game, and all of the extras, like it comes with a prototype of the game they made for use in like VCR-based games consoles, like the earliest versions of the Philips consoles used video tapes instead of CDs. And it comes with like the first version of it they made with that. It comes with all this documentary footage, like character stills, interviews, all information, and as well includes a theatre mode where you can just watch the footage they recorded for the film, for the game even, I guess, and like it's a movie, and it's much better when you just watch it instead of having to try and play it, because the gameplay is just awful. But yes, worth a $5, maybe $2 at a push.
Speaking of worth a $5, I've just logged onto Steam, where Rockstar have got a midweek madness sale on, where people, if they fancy, could pick up such games as Manhunt for £2.09p.
Ooh, that's interesting.
And Bully for £3.
Price.
Yeah, and Bully for £3.49.
Very interesting.
I liked Bully. Bully was a lot of fun.
Bully was a great. I actually already own Bully on Steam, and actually own it on PS2 as Canis Canimede it as well. But
you can get the GTA original trilogy for £5 and 9p again.
Well, while we're talking about deals as well, quickly, the Humble Bundle, there's a new Humble Bundle out. If you're into horror games, there is a few interesting things there. First of all, for the pay anything you want price, you've got Dead Age, which is a relatively decent sort of turn-based RPG with zombies. 2 different Dread Out titles. I don't know if you guys know Dread Out. You heard of Fatal Frame before? Sort of Japanese horror game. You play a schoolgirl with a camera.
No.
Vaguely?
Very,
or Project Butterfly.
very vaguely.
Very vaguely, yeah. It's not like super big in England, but it's or the UK or America or whatever. It's quite big.
I think I read something about it once.
Yeah. Well, Dread Out is a very similar concept. You play a schoolgirl with a phone camera and take pictures of ghosts without hopefully dying. It's terrifying, frankly, but mainly jump scares.
Is that the inspiration for that Luigi thing?
Luigi thing? I don't know. I'm not sure.
Wasn't there something on the Wii where it was something about Luigi and someone taking photos of ghosts?
That was Luigi's Dark Mansion.
Yeah.
Oh, was Dark Mansion like that?
Because it wasn't really taking photos. You had to go.
I know.
I've got on the 3DS.
Mansion,
you hoover it up.
Yeah, you have to.
Can you have a Hoover?
Yeah.
That's Luigi's Mansion and Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, where you hoover them up. Oh, but yeah, finishing off. What's something called Lakeview Cabin, which is basically slasher movie conventions, but it's kind of like a sort of adventure where you solve puzzles to escape slashers. In Above the Average, you've got Five Nights at Freddy's, sister location, whatever. I mean, I'm sure people like Five Nights at Freddy's a lot. Interesting story, kind of a crap game. Something called Layers of Fear, which I also already own, which is paintings, but scary. Alien Isolation. Don't know if you guys played Alien Isolation?
Yeah, I played it, yeah.
Pretty excellent. Yeah. And Dead by Daylight as well. Worth £5, yeah. Oh, and the average is currently £4.81, so you get
bargain.
Lots of shit for a £5 there.
It is
and,
quite literally worth a £5. Well,
yeah, exactly. And if you pay £7.80 odd or more, you also get Dead by Daylight as well. So quite a few pretty decent games. I bought the $1 bundle earlier because I wanted those 4 games, and pretty happy with my purchase. So if you're into horror games, check that out.
I feel like you're one of those people with a huge library of stuff you've never played.
Yep, that's basically how I ended up with, I don't know how many games, 536.
Wow.
On Steam.
If I'm the man who never finishes a game, then Will's the man who never starts off with them.
Well, I actually do have certain evenings where I sit down and kind of use one of the Steam DB calculators and go, organised by playtime. Okay, I played this like 50 or 60 odd games that I've not played at all, and then like go through them one by one until I've cleared them all. So, choke on that, Alec.
Right.
You're also the sort of man who writes endless to-do lists.
That too.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Makes perfect sense.
I think we'll call it a night there.
Probably,
so you can find.
You can find Will's review of. I can't remember what it was called. Sorry, Will. Nice Trap, yeah. And Ian's review of Uncharted.
Lost Legacy.
Thank you. On the website, which is gamingrespawn.com. Check us out on the Facebook, Gaming Respawn. Twitter, Gaming Respawn UK, which is also the YouTube channel. Will, what can we expect from the YouTube channel this week?
Well, we have episode 3 of my Dark Souls Let's Play, where I waffle endlessly on about Dark Souls 2, which is a bit embarrassing, really, to be honest. It's like, hey, welcome to this game. Let's talk about something else. Okay. We are also hopefully having a lot of new content. We've got a few new people kind of trialing on the YouTube. And we're hoping to have some kind of more top 10s coming out soon, get more people involved in Let's Plays, and of course we've got the podcast coming out. And I think at some point in the near future-ish, if plans are, successful, we should be having a Let's Play from Dom too, right? Is that still happening?
Yep.
There's No Man's Sky Let's Play, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So we should be having that soon too. Oh, and a first impression from, I think it's Anthony's doing a first impression on a game. I don't remember which one he's doing it on. I could check, I suppose. Hack GU. There you go.
Has anyone even heard of that? I've never.
Nope, not a clue. Not
What is that?
I've heard vaguely. I think not a clue what it is though. But yeah, first impression. There you go. Go watch that. You'll find out.
And there might be a second episode of Monday Night Raw on Friday.
I hope so.
So look, yes, indeed.
Let's see what gets on with that, because I'm into that idea.
So, Twitter shout-outs. Will, well, I'll bother with you because yours is confusing.
Yep, just don't.
I remember Will's.
Yay. Someone does.
It's not so much that you remember it, Alec. It's that everyone else tries to remember it.
It's not that hard. Mizu Shinzui.
Yeah. If you know how to sound out Japanese words, you're all sorted.
Just kind of sound it out. It's fairly straightforward.
There are links everywhere. Go on my About Me page on Gaming Respawn, you'll find it. Or the YouTube page, actually. They're all there.
We'll stick a link in the podcast description.
Yeah, of course. I always do. All of us have links in the podcast for our Twitters. So
yeah, if you've... we'll go through them.
Ian, your Twitter?
Mine is simple. Just Mr. McGee88.
Thank you. Very good. I'm at DomOnDead87, and Alec.
I'm at Alec Hawley1. Hawley is HAWLEY. So obviously, get in touch with any thoughts on this, any questions, all that sort of jazz. Get in touch with us.
Comment on the YouTube version if you wanna. Go for it. Yeah, well, I can't promise anything, but there might be a picture of Dom with his pants on the YouTube version this week. We'll see what happens.
Possibly, depends how drunk I get.
If I have to Photoshop it myself, I will find someone with a similar body type and just put your head on it.
Well, I've been told that me and Randy Orton have got similar physiques. So.
I really thought you were going to say Peter Andre then.
Well, me and Peter Andre as well. Yeah, definitely. We have been confused in the past.
I will officially be using a picture of Randy Orton with your face photoshopped on top of it, Dom.
That's more. Wow. People won't have tell the difference.
You'd be doing him a favour.
Yeah. But not a favour to Randy Orton. I may be murdered before next week's podcast.
I'll very much say it. Well, none taken. So so I think it's gonna be goodbye from everyone. I think.
Yeah. Well, we should probably quickly plug that soon we are launching the wrestling podcast.
Oh yeah.
Or not?
Well, we plugged that last week. I don't. There's gonna be a day crossover between the episodes. So if you listening to this on Thursday, tomorrow will be the wrestling podcast.
Good luck. I don't know why I said that, but yes. Good luck with the wrestling podcast, I guess. I don't know.
We'll be breaking down SummerSlam and TakeOver, I'm guessing, and I've got some British wrestling stuff to talk about, so yeah, should be good.
Have fun talking about wrestling, guys. I'm sure that my 8-year-old self would be super excited about it, but me, as I am now, has been separate from the wrestling sort of scene that I have no idea what would be going on.
Yeah, so check out that.
Yeah.
Very good. Right, Ian, have you got any languages to speak tonight?
I've literally just looked one up.
Oh, go on. Right, well, first, what is it?
It's, Italian.
That's not hard.
What is it, Dom?
Hey?
What is it?
It is...
Well, tables a turn now. It's not so easy, is it?
I'm trying to go off the top of my head.
I think I know.
No, go on, Ian. You've bested me.
Addio.
That's is it?
That's what Google says.
I would have said arrivederci.
Addio.
Apparently that's goodbye.
Okay. Well, that then.
Just get the computer to do it for you every week.
Yeah.
I will do it in my best Google impression.
Yeah. Well done, Ian. That was faultless for speaking Italian and impression.
Your Italian accent sounds a lot like a computerized female.
Oh well, that's how I practice.
Yeah. Right.
That's when that's how you learn it.
So thank you for listening. Of course, any comments, just drop us on the Twitter or Facebook or the YouTube channel.
All the socials.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. If you want
all our social areas.
If you want to, if you want to ask any questions, or just call Ian a slug. We're happy with that.
Constructive criticism, welcome.
Yeah.
like Ian, stop being a slug.
Yeah.
That's a slug.
Yeah. Right. And so goodbye, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Yes. Goodbye.
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 Bye.
What's wrong? Snake!